an ambush.
Oh my God, it's an ambush!
It's an ambush!
Of course!
Good afternoon, everyone. It's me, Scribelight, on Labor Day, and I am decidedly inebriated. I thought to myself, why not stream? It's a free country, for now. And I'm starting 5 minutes early. I apologize. I got impatient. I had that sort of like instant gratification impulse go through me. What am I going to do? I'm going to stream because I can. That's right. Yes, I'm at least 2 pepper jacks deep right now. And I thought, what the hell? Got nothing else going on. It's a day off. I'll end up working this evening to save myself some trouble tomorrow morning. And I don't know. Just for the sake of it. Just for the sake of it. And I got to point out at least, Keeverdam, Johnny on the spot, as it were, even in a sudden, unplanned, unannounced ambush stream, immediately providing the links to the GoFundMes and fundraisers for our friends, AJ, Ron Harushan, Natalie, and Angela Arriaga. I try not to play favorites oftentimes, but I would ask everybody to take a look specifically at Ron Harushan's fundraiser there. He and his family have had a cascading series of difficulties and personal tragedies in recent times. I won't go into them all. Some of them are sort of like the natural course of life. Some of them are family members acting badly and them having to deal with the aftermath. But either way, if you can donate, please do so. And even if you can't share those out on social media, that'd be appreciated. So thank you very much for that ahead of time. Also, Mike R., good afternoon. Mike Savage, good afternoon. All the mics. Step up to the mic. Mikeaton. Alice Morgan, good afternoon. Urkele DeStefano, good afternoon. Kiro Soldier, good afternoon. Josh Hammond, good afternoon. Hoko Sports, good afternoon to you. Jaeger Pony, good afternoon. And anybody who's lurking, anybody in the future, anybody I upset by having started 5 minutes early, good afternoon. I just had the impulse to stream. Call it divine possession. You know the phrase divine possession? That's sort of a cute way of saying inebriated, which I most certainly am. I don't really have a plan for this so much. I've got a couple of videos queued up, different things. You might remember from the Sunday stream, if you watch the Sunday stream, that I looked at an article regarding Ford Motor Company, and they're stepping back from their DEI policies and practices. And I was curious because there was a line in there from the CEO talking about how they didn't use quotas. Let me see if I can pull that up real quick. It's almost like I didn't really plan for this stream. I just kind of, did it off the cuff, as it were. So here's the letter from the CEO. This was published about 2 or 3 days ago, I think. And specifically, he said a couple of things in the middle of the letter that I found interesting. The letter in total wasn't quoted in the article I read on Sunday, but I looked up the letter after the fact. He said, first and foremost, Ford does not utilize hiring quotas. Ford does not utilize hiring quotas. All right, well, let's take a look at that claim first and foremost. There is a survey that was done that Bloomberg puts out. They put out a survey to these companies and they ask them specific questions about their business practices and such. And in 2021, Bloomberg asked them, does the company publicly share a specific time-bound action plan with targets to increase the representation of women in leadership positions? And they said in 2021, we created aspirational goals to increase the gender representation and racial diversity of our senior leadership. Now, for those of you who are veterans to the channel, you may remember the phrase aspirational goals. Aspirational goals, as we've been told, are not actually quotas. They're a completely different beast. Except they're not. It's just rebranding the same thing and trying to avoid accountability for it. But Ford said in 2021 or thereabouts, or maybe 2022, reporting in 2021, but they set aspirational goals. Aspirational goals, guys, are not quotas. Setting numbers or percentiles for your workplace or workforce are not actually quotas. No, not at all. That's the first one. Second one was Ford does not utilize hiring quotas or tie compensation to the achievement of specific diversity goals. Does not tie compensation to the achievement of specific diversity goals. Well, now what's the credibility of that claim? Well, except on Ford's own reporting of its activities, it said to increase awareness and accountability, all corporate officers now have DEI-based performance objectives to cultivate belonging. Yeah. All corporate officers now have DEI-based performance objectives to cultivate belonging. So there's no compensation tied to the achievement of specific diversity goals at Ford. And lastly, they say, we will not use quotas for minority dealerships or suppliers. We will not use quotas for minority dealerships or suppliers. Now, except that in one of their published reports where they bragged about their processes, Ford's previous goal was to spend over 10% of its overall spend with diverse businesses, a goal that we had consistently exceeded for 9 consecutive years. In 2020, we increased our goal to 15%. And this is under their commitment to supplier diversity and inclusion. So they had a quota of spending a certain amount of money on businesses run in the majority by certain demographics. But again, the CEO assured in his letter of the other day, we will not use quotas for minority dealerships or suppliers. Now, you might say, well, there's a level of semantics there. He's talking about the future. We will not use. Like going forward, in the future, we will not. But you go back to the first statement, Ford does not utilize hiring quotas, except there's all sorts of suggestion that they do. Does not tie compensation to the achievement of specific diversity goals, except there's blatant statements that indicate that they do. And they don't use quotas to deal with minority dealerships or suppliers, except their own publications say otherwise. Well, obviously, this isn't proof of wrongdoing. This isn't proof of any kind of legal peril, let's say. But, I mean, it's awfully suggestive that maybe there should be some kind of, I don't know, governmental inquiry into Ford's business practices, especially in employment and vendor hiring over the last several years, and maybe do so sooner rather than later before any kind of statute of limitations runs out. I'm just saying. Anyway, so there was that. That was my follow-up to Sunday's stream, specifically about the Ford Motor Company article and their claims of not using quotas. Now, I did also look to see if I could find some promotional videos from Ford regarding their diversity initiatives. And I found quite a few. In fact, there was a whole playlist on their Ford Employment YouTube channel. Yes, Ford has a Careers at Ford YouTube channel. A whole playlist about diversity and inclusion. Most of them were sort of like short promo videos. There were actually several panel discussions. Panel discussions, I watched a little bit of a couple of them, and they sounded very scripted, kind of dry, but I, archived a couple just for the sake of it, because you never know, especially after Ford makes a declaration that they're rolling back their DEI processes and initiatives and such, how long those videos might last on the internet. So for, posterity's sake, I archived a couple. So I thought, just for the hell of it, and not that this whole stream's going to be just Ford, because the way that my brain is right now, I could go anywhere. Why not we listen? Why not we listen? I sound almost kind of fancy when I say it that way. Why not do we listen to a little bit of one of those videos or a couple of those videos, just for the heck of it? Let's see. Before I get there, who else is talking in the chat right now? Okie Native. Good afternoon. A BDSM god? I mean, I have had several, I guess what you could consider religious exclamations directed my way in the course of BDSM play. I'm a poet and I don't even know it, but other than that, JB, Scribe is drinking gin and juice. No, not quite. Not quite my speed, not quite my tempo. Let's see. Jeremiah Hembry. Did you see Reagan? I'm assuming you mean the movie. I have not seen the movie Reagan. So no. The answer is no. I've heard various things about it from different people, but who knows? And also, Roan Harushan. Good evening to you. And Seftus Wolf. Good evening to you. Or I guess afternoon. It's still afternoon. Yeah, but anyway, so let's which one shall we do? Do we want to do let's see. Do we want to do the sort of basic promo video, or we got two panel discussions. I've got one on HBCU interns and one on Hispanic Latino summer interns. So you guys get to pick. You want HBCU or you want Latino Hispanic summer interns? Let me know in the chat, and I'll take another sip of my dangerous imbibement. Oh, Pepperjack, you my only friend. Jaeger Pony says interns. Well, thanks for clearing that up. They're both about interns. Okay. Septus Wolf says HBCU. JB says I'll take Hispanics. Sounds suggestive. Josh Hammond says both? Yeah, why not both? All right. Well, we'll give a couple minutes. I'm not going to watch the whole thing. Each of these are like 40 minutes long or something. So we'll give let's see. We'll give the let's see. Let's try HBCU first. Let's try that. Let me shrink myself down. There we go. Oh, I should probably have an overlay. What overlay shall I use? How about something cosmic? There we go. All right, so let's take a look at HBCU interns at Ford. We'll give it about like 5 minutes or something to see if it catches our attention.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Rob Miles. My pronouns are he, him, and his.
And thank you for your pronouns. I wouldn't have known what to do otherwise if you hadn't said.
Work in university relations here at Ford Motor Company.
University relations at Ford Motor Company. Okay, so Ford Motor Company has a university relations department
on our diversity, equity, and inclusion team, and I am so excited to be you all's host this afternoon as we are preparing to start off our Pathway to Ford event.
Pathway to Ford event. Okay.
So for more than a century, Ford has been a pioneer in providing opportunity to people regardless of race, gender, ability, sexual orientation, and background.
Okay, so opportunities regardless of race, gender, sexual orientation, and background. Okay, so Ford Motor Company is an equal opportunity employer and does not judge someone's worth on the basis of their aesthetics. Okay.
We view this less with pride than the sober realization that we must go further to
Let's not talk about sober right now. I'm definitely not in sober territory.
create a company where our differences are truly valued and every team member can bring their whole selves to work.
Oh, their whole selves to work. Here we go again. Whole selves to work. Yes, the diminishment of professional distance. All right. Well, what does bringing my whole self to work mean?
Creating a culture of belonging isn't just the right thing to do, it's also the smart thing to do.
Oh, it's a smart thing. Let me see. Because diversity brings innovation, better ideas, better outcomes, something like that.
Diversity breeds innovation.
Jesus. Oh man. I've been doing this too long. Angelverse, good afternoon. Thank you so much, Angelverse, for the how's it going, Dog Cat Fox. Oh, Dog Cat.
Wowee, wow, wow.
No, there's a irate Alex, Dog Cat Fox. Irate Alex, soon to be once again a father. Yes, irate Alex has done some knocking up. So congratulations ahead of time to irate Alex and Nikki. And thank you, Angelverse, for the how's it going, Dog Cat Fox. All right, so innovation. Yes, diversity breeds innovation.
And the companies that attract the most talented and diverse workforce will succeed in our rapidly changing world.
Will they? Will they, though? Huh. Well, it's interesting because Ford is rolling back their DEI practices now. I believe this came out about 2 or 3 years ago now. So we're looking back in time at Ford's philosophy on DEI a little bit. But it just, things to come as Ford tries to run away from all of this.
At Ford, we are family, we celebrate our differences, and we all belong.
We celebrate our differences and we all belong. Okay.
So, the Pathway to Ford series is a series created to attract and develop Black and Brown students interested in internships and careers at Ford Motor Company.
Wait. Everybody belongs, but the Pathway to Ford is specifically for Black and Brown. Let's hear that bit again. Let's go back. Let's go back just a little bit. Let's hear that
Companies
again.
that attract the most talented and diverse workforce will succeed in our rapidly changing world.
Right. Rapidly changing world.
At Ford, we are family, we celebrate our differences, and we all belong.
Yeah, we celebrate our differences and we all belong. And then
So, the Pathway to Ford series is a series created to attract and develop Black and Brown students interested in internships and careers at Ford Motor Company.
Okay, so white or Asian students need not apply, but everybody belongs. Oh man. Okay. Tell me more.
Through this series, interested students will have the opportunity to learn.
No, not interested students. Not interested students. Because interested students is not the first consideration, right? If you have 20 interested students and 15 of them are white, they don't matter. It's not about curiosity. It's not about passion. It's not about talent. Or, anything like that. No. There's a filter to this. There's a first filter to this. Interested students.
What it is like to intern at Ford Motor Company from the lens of an HBCU student.
from the lens of an HBCU student. So wait, historic Black colleges and universities, and yet you said brown students. Now, generally speaking, as I understand it from racists, brown students equates to Latinos. So what does a Latino know about being at a historically Black college or university? I don't know. I'm white, so I don't know anything.
They will also receive interview tips and resume tips.
Interview tips and resume tips. Okay. So I'm going to get career advice from a company where everybody belongs, but only certain people have an internship pathway based on their skin color or ethnicity. Okay. Thank you, Derek LaRue. Good afternoon, Derek LaRue. And let me put a, make sure to put a, because there's like a time limit on how much or when I can like put an actual comment in the chat to your super chat. If I don't do it fast enough, they don't let me do it. So I made sure to say my thanks there. Derek, thank you so much as always for your continued amazing generosity and support. Really appreciate it. Hope you're having a good day and hope you're enjoying this completely planned and structured show I'm doing. Also, if you hadn't noticed, I hadn't had the opportunity to boost the audio on this thing, so I apologize if it's tinny or quiet. This is a AAA production here.
Ford Motor Company believes in caring for each other, and a part of that is valuing diversity and embracing inclusion.
Valuing diversity and embracing inclusion by having a 2-color filter at the front of our internship program. Okay.
As it relates to our internship program, the Ford Summer Internship Program provides students with hands-on career-specific experience through...
No, not students. That's too inclusive. Black and brown students. You're forgetting your own rules already.
10 to 12 weeks of full-time work during summer break.
10 to 12 weeks of full-time work towards an internship. Okay.
Summer interns generally will have completed their sophomore or junior year of an undergraduate program or one academic year of a master's program.
Sure. I don't know how long I'm going to watch this or listen to this because I got a feeling it's going to get boring pretty quick, but I was morbidly curious to hear the opening salvo.
And expect to graduate the following year.
Mm-hmm.
At this time, we're going to bring our amazing panelists to the stage.
Ooh, who are your panelists? Anytime now. Anytime now.
Hey, everyone.
Hey, Rob, how you doing?
These all look like, are they actual interns?
Hey, Rob.
Hey. So now let's get to know our 3 amazing panelists. So
our 3 amazing panelists. Okay.
If you all could tell us a little bit about who you are, your university and major.
Does who they are actually matter given the prerequisites for inclusion in this program?
And what you currently do here as an intern. We're going to get things started with Camry.
Hello, everyone. My name is Camry Chanot. I attend the illustrious Clarkland University, and I am majoring in business administration with a concentration in management. And I am from Detroit, Michigan, where I was born and raised.
I'm already getting bored. I'm sorry, and apologies to the panelists. I'm sure that they're very interesting, but I have a feeling that if we continue with this for the additional 30 minutes or whatever, that's just going to get kind of boring. And now there's sirens going off in the background. Boy, there's just a busy day around here. There we go again. Busy day. Okay, well, how about we try just for variety's sake? Because I like diversity. How about we also look at the Hispanic internship thing? Is the intro to this the same thing as the last one? Is our same host? This is specifically about Hispanic Latino summer interns. Sure.
Hello, everyone.
Oh, your audio is much better this time.
I am Rob Miles. My pronouns are he, him, his.
Oh, they remain the same between programs. Okay.
And I work in the university relations, work on the university relations team here at Ford Motor Company on
Right.
our diversity, equity, and inclusion team.
Uh-huh.
I am so excited to be your host this afternoon.
You've been consistently excited throughout 2 panel discussions so far.
For our Pathway to Ford event.
Uh-huh.
For more than a century, Ford Motor Company has been a pioneer in providing opportunity to people regardless of race, gender, ability, sexual orientation, and background.
If he's reading from the same script as the last one, I'm going to skip this one even quicker.
We view this with less pride than the sober realization that we must
sober
go further to
realization.
create a company where our differences are truly valued and every team member can bring their whole selves to work.
Whole selves to work. Uh-huh.
Creating a culture of belonging isn't just the right thing to do. It's also the smart thing to do.
Right. Because it breeds so much innovation. It increases the bottom line. It's inherently valuable and creates such a wonderful workplace that you would never want to not have DEI and inclusion and diversity as part of your workplace. And that's why the CEO just kind of walked it all back and rolled it back in the last couple of days.
Diversity breeds innovation, and the companies that attract the most talented and diverse workforce will succeed in our rapidly changing world.
Right. Okay. Same script as last time. So what's the spiel this time?
At Ford, we are family. We celebrate our differences, and we all belong.
Right. We all belong, but
so the Pathway to Ford series is a series created to attract and develop Black and Brown students interested in internships and careers at Ford Motor Company. Through this series, interested candidates will have the opportunity to learn what it is like to intern at Ford Motor Company from the lens of a Hispanic serving institution student.
Whoa, no. You had the exact same intro for the last video, but you said it was an HBCU thing. Now it's a Hispanic serving institution or something. I apologize. I'm not that interested in going any further with this. I'm sure that the people who interned at Ford are perfectly fine. They took the opportunity. Why wouldn't you? And so on. But they were only afforded the opportunity because of their skin color and or their ethnicity. And you want to talk about like injecting imposter syndrome into the process, not only for those that end up acquiring the opportunity given to them, but also anyone else around them that got there through other means or other pathways. And the question mark that is inherently put over their heads. Are they here because they've actually earned their place? Are they here because they actually possess the talent or the passion or the knowledge or the education to be here? Or are they here first and foremost because they look the part? I guess that's what Ford is struggling with now, since they've now rolled back or are starting to roll back their DEI initiatives. Thank you, Chicago Mike. I love the DEI at Ford, as Henry Ford was renowned for inclusion. Yes, Henry Ford really was a man of the people. It's funny that you say that, Chicago Mike, because when I was looking up Ford stuff yesterday, when I was curious about their claims of not using quotas and so on, they used language in describing their long history of inclusive workplaces and things like that. And they said for over 100 years. I'm like, for over 100 years. And I'm like, okay, so when was the Ford company founded? Let me just check that real quick. 1903. Right? And it's now 2024, let's say 2020, whenever. So depending on when Henry Ford actually stopped being CEO or being in charge of everything, I guess they could technically get away with saying for over 100 years rather than saying from our founding. I'm not quite sure if the semantics on that, no pun intended, but I'll take it, line up. But anyway, yeah. So I apologize for my sort of schizophrenic programming here, but I didn't really have a plan for this stream. I'm just drunk. What else do I have? I got a 5-minute. Okay, here, let's do this. I got a 5-minute Ford promotional video on their DEI initiatives. And then I've got a completely out of left field MSNBC video. Or I think it's NBC video on Gen Z. I don't know. I'm making this up as I go along. What do I know? But who else is here while I'm talking about this? Ryan R. I was so excited though. What for a panel discussion where they talk to entirely innocent interns who were handed an opportunity first and foremost on the basis of their ethnicity, and so they can talk about what fun they're having in the internship program. I mean, I'm sure it was fine, but I'm also sure it was pretty much just a self-patting on the back propaganda piece otherwise. And after a fashion, I don't feel like trying to dunk on a bunch of teenagers who were offered an opportunity and took it, because who wouldn't? More like Ford being discriminatory that I felt like highlighting more than anything else. So, But okay, let's see what the sort of scripted official promotional video of Ford's DEI pro. I don't know if there's a musical component to this. If there is, I might have to skip through it because I don't know what's copyrighted and what's not.
Our lived experiences create the glasses that we wear.
Our lived experiences create the glasses that we wear. Actually, Zenni Optical created the glasses that I wear. I am not sponsored by Zenni Optical, but I will plug Zenni Optical. If you need glasses that are affordable and a lot cheaper than going to the optometrist, as long as you have your prescription, that's the one thing you have to have, and your pupil distance. Make sure you have your pupil distance. When you go to the eye doctor and get your eye exam, ask them specifically for your pupil distance. And then when you go to Zenni Optical, you plug all that information in, and you're off to the races with some decent prices as compared to actual optometrists. Anyway, sorry, I'm getting off on glasses.
And these glasses also create blind spots.
Blind spots. Okay, so unconscious bias.
So as we're creating products, services, and experiences that our customers want and value, we can't be looking through those same glasses.
Right. Okay, so what defines my glasses, right? My background, my personal experiences. Right, okay. But doesn't my personal experiences create a unique set of glasses, as compared to somebody else's glasses? So the intersection of those two sets of glasses would equate to diversity of thought, diversity of perspective, quite literally, right? Diversity, equity, inclusion, curious. Okay, so diversity, equity, inclusion, and then curious. DEIC. Whoa, that was too quick. Wait, hold on. Back up. Intentional? Is that what that's supposed to say? So diversity, equity, inclusion, curiosity, intention. I'm going to assume it means intentionality. So DEICI, and then you understanding. Okay, so DEICIU. Okay, DEICIU. Decimation. Whoa, you're way too fast. That's like half a second. Come on, give me a break. Okay. Family. Okay, so DEICIUF. Okay. Belonging. DEICIUFB. Oh my gosh. Whoa. Hold your horses. Positive. Well, there's an E at the end, so it can't be positivity. So positive. Okay, so DEICIUFBP. I can't, am I getting this right? I'm drunk. My short-term memory is completely disabled. Caring. Okay. DEICIUFBPC. Did I miss anything? Oh, not again. No, stop. Stop. Why? What? Wait, a mentor? A mentor. Oh, shit. DEICIUFPB or BP I don't know. I lost it. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I tried really hard. I don't know what's happening now. I'm sorry. Focused. So F. I give it an F. Oh, now we get to, wait, no, it's not just diversity, equity, inclusion. It's all these other letters. It's like a Sesame Street episode or something. Thank you, Keeverdam. You doing a vision letter test. I mean, after a fashion, I'm testing to see how my memory works in the face of like drastic alcohol consumption. Like, can I remember all of these things in order? There was a so when I was a kid, I'll give you a little story about memory and trying to remember things. When I was a kid, well, let me put it this way. My sister and I are very different. And I know you might say, well, one's a girl and one's a boy. Whatever that means these days. But anyway, my sister was born with hypothyroidism, i.e. she has a non-functioning thyroid. And I was born with, well, a normal thyroid. And through a convoluted series of events, my sister and I were selected for a series of tests at a university. They wanted to see if there was an effect on the learning and or comprehension ability of children with a differential of their active or correctly functioning thyroid, let's say. So they would give my sister some tests and they'd give me some tests, and then they compare the two, and I guess they'd use it for their studies or whatever. And so I was, being tested in a university room with like, the two-way mirror or whatever. It was really weird. Anyway, I remember this to this day, and it embarrasses me because I feel so stupid. I was like 6. Okay, so it's not the end of the world, but even to this day, I feel so stupid because I remember after I was done with this particular round of tests, I felt so stupid. So one of the tests, one of the things they did was to say, okay, little boy, you're facing north. Just imagine you're facing north. And I'm like, uh-huh. And now you turn right, and then you turn left, and then you turn left again, and then you turn right, and then you turn right again, and then you turn left. What direction are you facing, little boy? And I would give my answers, sort of like trying to visualize, okay, if I'm facing north and I turn this way and I turn that way. And I'm like 6 years old. Well, it wasn't until after I got home, and that was just one part of the test. There's a whole bunch of other things they did with like little memory things and like, flashcard type things and all types of stuff to try to measure my cognitive ability or my short-term memory and all this other stuff. When I got home, It wasn't until we pulled into the driveway that I suddenly realized that in my mind's eye, I had mixed up east and west on my mental compass. So at least, 50% or more of the questions that they asked me specifically on that whole directional thing, I completely screwed up because I thought east was the other way than west. And I'm still embarrassed about it to this day. Every time that I look at a map or anything dealing with east and west, I suddenly have like this traumatic flashback to completely like failing on these things. And I thought, dang it, now my sister looks smarter than I do. Biggest regret of my life, I tell you what. Angela Henderson, Director of Racial Equity. Why am I not surprised?
Valuing the differences of people. That's diversity.
No, valuing the differences of people is conceivably an ism of some kind or another. Why don't you value the talent, the knowledge, the skills, the experience, the education? Because I know what you mean by differences. You're talking about surface level stuff, aren't you?
Who they are, what they do.
No. You don't. No. Who they are is less important, far less important than what they are. And what they do, again, is at best a secondary or probably tertiary consideration.
Where they come from.
Where they come from. Well, what do you mean by where they come from?
Equity is really taking a closer look at what do you need to be most successful.
No, equity is about equality of outcome. So if, I have to be artificially propped up into an equitable, by definition, place as someone else of exceeding talent or otherwise in order to make everything look like everybody's succeeding. Because if we have anybody falling behind, and if the people falling behind happen to fall into certain demographics, and then we necessarily have to let them go because they're not actually fulfilling the objectives of the company or their job positions, then we look racist.
And then inclusion piece is, how am I making sure that I'm getting your voice?
Have a daily or weekly meeting where everybody talks about what they're working on, what they've accomplished, etc. It's a very simple thing to do. If you want to know, if you want to hear from everybody on your team or in your department, you have a weekly meeting where you go around the circle and everybody has their 5 minutes to say, what are you working on? What have you completed? What are you doing in the upcoming week? It's not that complicated.
That I'm hearing your voice and that you feel valued in being here at Ford Motor Company.
If I'm getting a paycheck, I feel valued. If I'm receiving the benefits I was promised upon the time of my accepting the position, I feel valued. If I need something beyond that, I might need to do some self-reflection on what exactly affirmation is in regards to honest work.
There's decades of research that highlights the importance of the business case.
Oh, decades of research. Is it all from McKinsey and Company by any chance?
Companies that do this right are more innovative.
Oh, they're more innovative, are they? Remember, guys, this is a video from 2 or 3 years ago from Ford Motor Company, who in the last 72 hours or so have started, at least publicly in declarations, rolling themselves back from participating in DEI initiatives.
And they're more profitable.
Oh, they are? They're more profitable? Well, if they're more profitable, then why would Ford stop doing this? If it is such a clear line drawn between the beginning of a DEI initiative and profitability, why would you ever run away from it?
In today's environment, we're in a war for talent.
A war for talent? Well, then I guess your first consideration for anybody being employed at Ford would be, well, their talent, right? Their education, their prior work experience, their passion for the subject matter, and so on. Not even considering their aesthetics. I mean, that's completely irrelevant, right? Right?
Great people are only going to come when they feel included, valued, and that they can thrive in their careers.
Great people are only going to. Okay, I could go into a very PG-13 or R-rated territory with that statement, but I'm just going to take another sip of my drink and just bumble along.
We are more focused than ever.
Edward Day or Die, not quite sure, Supervisor Power Unit, Research and Advanced Engineering. Okay, and?
More focused than ever to incorporate DEI into how we're building our teams, how we're developing our technologies, products, and business.
You instill DEI into your development of products and business. I can believe it. And that worked out so well that at the most sort of minimal pushback in the last several months and a couple days in particular, the CEO has run away from these initiatives. Okay.
And how we're making contribution to the communities.
How are you making contributions to the communities?
As we at Ford Motor Company become more inclusive.
Brian Lloyd, Program Manager, Supplier Diversity and Inclusion. You know, I was told by the CEO they don't use any kind of quota system to decide who they're going to give money to on the supply side of things. Do you have anything to say on that?
As we at Ford Motor Company become more inclusive in our sourcing of diverse suppliers.
Oh, more inclusive in our sourcing of diverse suppliers. There's not any kind of, I don't know, quota or metric or goal or percentile one to the other of diverse suppliers versus non-diverse suppliers. And anything like that?
The monies that we spend with our suppliers improves families, it improves neighborhoods.
Well, yes. If you dump money onto people, first and foremost, because of their skin color, of course it's going to improve their families and or their neighborhoods and so on. Because they have more money given to them because of what they look like. So, yeah, it's amazing. If you give somebody a bunch of money, I mean, regardless of your intentions, I suppose, their lives will improve. I mean, unless they're completely dumb with their money, I guess. I mean, you hear all these stories about like music stars or sports stars that get these giant contracts or signing bonuses and they litter it all away on nonsense, or they don't know how to manage their money smartly, and then within like 10 years they're bankrupt. There was this great little documentary from, I think it was ESPN. I think it was a 30 for 30 documentary. I think it was called Broke or Bankrupt or something, and it profiled all these sports stars that had completely just decimated themselves financially, even though they were given, you know, multi-million-dollar contracts or something, and they were just completely bankrupt. It really is amazing what can happen if you don't have any kind of reasonable financial literacy. That's one thing that I would like to see pushed forward across all of our educational institutions, from elementary school all the way up through college. Financial literacy prerequisites just for graduating, that you go through some kind of home ec or a personal finance class or something. I think as a country, we'd all be better off if we were mandated to have some reasonable education on managing our personal finances. Boy, I go off on some weird tangents when I'm drunk.
For us, it's for Hispanic Latino member.
Oh, for Hispanic Latino members, start Natalie Arguello, Research Engineer, Advanced Driver Assist Systems.
We're invested in communities, building pipelines from the local Latino community into Ford.
Oh, the local Latino community into Ford. Okay, so you have a specific, or I should say you had. I have to talk in the past tense here because the CEO has now said publicly that they are rolling back their DEI initiatives. Okay, so at one point, Ford Motor Company had a pipeline specifically for people on the basis of their ethnicity into employment and so on. So never mind Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Never mind that. No. Ford was doing the right thing, the innovative thing, by having a pipeline for employees on the basis of their ethnicity. Okay.
Having people internally.
Allison Nelson, Director, DEI Strategies and Governance. Now, I wonder if Allison Nelson is still now employed at Ford with their announcement. I mean, are they getting rid of that position? I am curious, but anyway.
Having people internally that can relate to who our customers are.
Having people internally who can relate to who our customers are. You mean the car buying public? Like most of the country? Okay.
Externally just makes us that much richer as a company because we know we're delivering products that matter.
You're delivering cars. If they've got four wheels, an engine, and they move people from one point to another, what matters it to me, the color of the skin of the person who put it together? You know what matters to me more? I know this is a crazy thing to say. If I had to put on a scale as to whether skin color or talent matters more in who's constructing or designing my car, I think talent would win every day of the week. And skin color, ethnicity, gender, all that stuff would kind of be functionally irrelevant. But okay, you do you, Ford.
Having a mix from different backgrounds, different specialties.
Different backgrounds, different special. Okay, now specialties implies something like skill and merit education. Backgrounds is always kind of ambiguous. But okay.
Has really elevated our teams, enabled them to problem solve in different ways.
How? Like, what does that mean?
Globally, we're really partnering much more closely with our dealers to ensure that not only do the dealer employees.
Wait. Much more closely with your dealers are your point of sale. Why wouldn't you already be partnering? Okay. Little known fact, I come from a family, or at least I should say my father. My father worked in the auto industry for many, 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 many years. And at one time did work for Ford. And he interacted with dealerships every day because that's your point of sale. We're working more with our dealerships. Like, how much more? How can you get more involved with your points of sale? Like, what? What does that mean? I'm backing up a little bit here. I'm just curious.
To problem solve in different ways.
Yeah.
Globally, we're really partnering much more closely with our dealers to ensure that not only do the dealer employees feel a sense of belonging, but
not only so you're going to the dealerships and you're monitoring their belonging practices. I wonder how that went.
We're looking at our customers and how are we creating that customer experience that's very positive.
How do you create that customer experience that's very positive? I don't know. Somebody walks through the door and you welcome them. You ask them, how are you doing? How can I help you today? You know, just basic customer service stuff. What does that have to do with DEI?
Employee resource groups.
Employee resource groups. I love employee resource groups. Tell me more about your ERGs because your current website seems to be just completely scrubbed of anything other than women at Ford. And I had to do some digging. There is a African American culture or ancestry ERG that either is at Ford or was at Ford, but it's strangely not posted on their website anymore.
Are a tremendous resource, not only for the employees, but for the company.
How are they a tremendous resource for the company? Well, no, I take it back. I know why they're a tremendous resource for the company. Because if you divvy up your workforce on the basis of demographics, specifically racial or ethnic first and foremost, and then you move on to things that might actually be relevant or reasonable, like veteran status or something. But if you tribalize your workforce and you say, here's an ERG for our Black employees, here's an ERG for our Hispanic employees, here's an ERG for our LGBTQ plus employees. If you get everybody to portion themselves off into little groups, little tribes, little cliques, and then you say, okay, well, your ERG is going to do X, Y, Z to promote the company amongst this community, amongst this demographic. And we know you're going to do this because you want to, support your fellow people in that demographic. Again, you're just effectively giving your free time, unpaid free time, to promote the company on a marketing level to specific demographics. And it's not about employee resources for the employees. It's about advertising. It's about marketing. I know I might sound cynical about it, but that's been my interpretation over the years.
Teaching all of us some of the things that they're concerned with.
Oh my gosh, you're actually listing them all up. Okay, none of this, except for the women of Ford, none of this is on their website right now. It has been scrubbed, removed, or placed elsewhere. Ford Hispanic and Latino Network, Ford Empowering Diverse Abilities, so I'm assuming that's for the cripples. And I can say that because one of my best friends is Ranting Monkey, who is himself a cripple. So I'm good with saying that. The Ford Chinese Association, the Ford Asian Indian Association, well, that's splitting hairs a bit, Ford Pride, and then, of course, Women of Ford. What is with these symbols? They look like rejected NBC logos or something. None of these things, to me, say Ford or automobiles at all. It looks like feathers on the peacock.
Some of the things that they want to highlight, making sure that.
There's more. Oh my God. Ford Interfaith Network. Okay, divvying people up on the basis of their religion. That's always really smart when it comes to Title VII. Next Gen. I'm going to guess that's like a particular age bracket. Ford Middle Eastern and North African Association. Okay. Ford Pride Ally. Wait, back up. So there's Ford Pride, and then there's Ford Pride Ally. So there's people who are not straight, and then there's people who are straight, but supporting people who aren't straight. Okay. Ford African Ancestry. That was the one I saw before. Ford African Ancestry Network. So not saying Black specifically, but just African Ancestry Network. Okay. And then, of course, the one ERG, which I always say might have some kind of reasonable legitimacy, and of everything else on this list, actually indicates something of an individual person's merit and sacrifice. The VET-NG. I don't know what that stands for, but a veterans something group, network group or something. So let's just review. All of these ERGs, right? Hispanic, Latino, diverse abilities. I'm going to assume that means disability. Chinese Association, Asian Indian, Pride, Women. Faith, Next Gen, again, I'm assuming that means age bracket. Middle Eastern, North African, African Ancestry. All of those are surface level elements that say nothing about a person's merit. It's just a reflection of your genetics, your age group, your personal broad scope, faith-based thing. The only one that actually indicates that someone did something to arrive at that status is the Veterans Employee Resource Group. That's it. Everything else, no effort involved, no effort required.
Making sure that our products and services meet the needs of diverse customers.
What is a diverse customer? Define for me a diverse customer. Now define for me a non-diverse customer and tell me why you would not want to cater to a non-diverse customer versus a diverse customer. If you're looking to sell as many of your products as you can to as wide an audience as you can, why are you focusing on people on the basis of their diversity quotient? And tell me about the customers you don't care about. What defines a non-diverse customer, and why does their money not matter to Ford? Or are you only now learning the lesson of that folly with the CEO's declaration of a couple of days ago?
It's one of the reasons that I love Ford so much.
Why do you love Ford so much? Sarah Gray, seat buyer, supply chain. So is she in charge of just like literally buying seats for cars?
By having a devoted employee resource group, you can feel like you fit in.
Why can't I feel like I fit in because I'm an employee at Ford? Why can't they have ERGs that are specifically geared towards professional development for anybody who is curious? Also, Satsu 2 cents is in the chat. Did someone say best friend? Here I am. Satsu 2 cents. Oh my gosh, guys, do you know about Satsu 2 cents? If you don't know about Satsu 2 cents, well, let me tell you about Satsu 2 cents. This is my friend Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, founder, owner, and CEO of Oishi Fried Chicken LLC, featuring a new line of signature spice mixes. Chef Tyrone's homemade blends are the perfect gateway to delicious fried chicken or any other protein you might prefer. These recipes were painstakingly tested in Tyrone's home kitchen to bring you all the fantastic flavors you and your family can enjoy. The current flavor lineup includes original, spicy, lemon garlic herb, barbecue rub, and taco seasoning. You can buy individual packs of your favorite flavors or save some money with a variety bundle, all through the online store. And Oishi Fried Chicken ships nationwide. Go to www.oishifc.com and order today. If you're not aware of Satsu's spices, buy them. You know, I don't usually make declarations regarding people's purchasing decisions on this channel. I promote, fundraisers for people that need some help. But in this case, no, I'm telling you, buy Satsu's spices. It just go to that website, Satsu. You can put the link in the chat, whatever. Go buy his spices. Put them on your favorite protein, whether that's chicken or beef or goat, alligator, bison, or rattlesnake. It's all the same. Well, it's not all the same, but you know what I mean. It all works. Can you imagine some Satsu spiced rattlesnake? I can. Theoretically. So do it. Because I said so. Hey, Satsu. Nice to see you. Also, before it completely disappears, thank you, Keeverdam. Again, is Satsu your other best friend? Because he's in chat right now. I have several. Okay, I know best is. Oh man, you get in trouble when you say best. I have a lot of best friends. Best friends for different things at different times for different reasons. Monkey and Satsu are two of my best friends. It's hard. It's like trying to decide which of your children you love the most. Although I hear from parents, it's not that hard to decide. But fortunately for Satsu, he doesn't have to decide because he only got the one. The lovely and beautiful Aaliyah, who just had her birthday in the last several days. She's now 5 years old. Is anybody here in the chat who remembers the epic night where Squishy went into labor? Was anybody here for that telethon on Satsu's channel that Monkey maintained for 13 some odd hours? Well, Satsu took Squishy to the hospital to bring about the treasure that is Aaliyah. If you're in the chat and you were there for that event, if you hung around at any time for that event, say happy birthday, Aaliyah, in the chat now to commemorate that, because that is still one, like, of all the things that I've ever been witness to or a part of, even peripherally on the internet, that is still like the top of the pops. That is like the Mount Everest. That event happening, that was just something else on that day. I guess because like before it happened, we were joking. You know, is Squishy's water going to break today? And then it did. So there you go. Be sure to say happy birthday to Aaliyah in the chat if you were there for that event, or even if you weren't. Wish a happy birthday. Belated, admittedly, but still all the same. Ercole DeStefano channeling Placebo, I think. Or is it the Eels? A friend in needs, a friend indeed. A friend with weed is better. I don't know why I always mix up the Eels and Placebo. I think it's something about the singer or something. Anyway, it's one of the two. I know I'm right about one of the two. Okay, anyway, you were talking about, what was it now, lady? Supplier, seat supplier?
Employee resource group.
Right.
You can feel like you fit in.
Right. Well, yeah, because it's a clique. It's a tribe. You're delineating your employees on the basis of service level aesthetics and elements. You know, your race, your gender, your orientation or something. Except that LGBTQ plus, etc., includes a panoply of demographics. So anyway.
You can talk about things that aren't Ford related.
You can. Why would you want to on company time?
That are impacting you.
Well, so it's a therapy group.
But also feel that common bond, and you thrive when you can be your whole authentic self.
Your whole authentic self when you are segregated away into an employee resource group that focuses specifically on simply one element of your makeup that says nothing about your character or ability. Except for the veterans ERG, which, again, the only one that makes some kind of sense.
DE&I does not only mean race.
Well, no, it does not only mean race. It means race, gender, and orientation. And apparently in Ford also religion, which, again, just in case anybody doesn't know, all of these things are listed on equal legal footing under Title VII of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, as in those things you are not allowed to discriminate on the basis of. So why is there not a white ERG, a straight ERG, a men's ERG? I don't know if Ford or any of these other companies ever understood the chasm of legal liability they were opening themselves up to. Because putting in groups and programs and stuff that celebrate certain demographics while not having anything equitable for other demographics is as much a discrimination under the law as if you excluded people that you were celebrating. There are any dozen number of class action lawsuits that could be brought up on Ford or HP or Google or anybody else that's been practicing these things over the last few years. The only question is, how long can they stave off a serious concerted effort on a legal basis in order to achieve the statute of limitations? And that's state by state.
It's no longer just black and whites.
No, it's no longer just black and whites. It's black and white and Hispanic and Asian and Pacific Islander, Middle Eastern, faith-based, gender, orientation. You're right.
It means who you are, how you identify yourself.
No. Who I am, how I identify. I identify myself with my name. When somebody comes up to me and says, "Who are you?" What's my first reflex? I say my name. I don't say, "Oh, I'm white and, 5'10" and male and straight. No. I say my name, my individuality, not my lowest common denominator.
And I should be able to feel free to be in that space.
A healthy team requires the freedom and liberation to be who you are.
Who I am? Again, who I am is less important to Ford than what I am.
To be open to engaging others.
I'm open to engaging others. I engage others all the time. I'm technically, I'm at least rhetorically engaging others right now.
It's acknowledging them, appreciating them in front of their peers and their
Acknowledging them, appreciating them in front of their peers. Who's them? When I think of them, I think of giant radioactive ants for some reason. I don't know why that is.
people leaders, and respecting even when you have differences.
Respecting even when you have differences. What kind of differences?
For any new employee who's coming into Ford, they can perfectly feel at home and be part of the Ford family.
Can they? I mean, I just looked at the opening salvos for 2 internship programs, or maybe 1 internship program, that said that only Black and brown students were important. So if I go into a company that I know values people first and foremost on elements that say nothing about my ability or my merit, my education, my skill level, my passion, how welcome do you think I'd feel?
To actually bring in a third party and do an audit of the company from a DEI perspective.
Oh, a third party. Oh, now that's work for DEI consultants, right? You bring in a third party, you bring in an objective individual to take a look at the Ford company and how are they succeeding at their DEI initiatives. And what is the first thing that they look at? Oh yeah, aesthetics, window dressing. What is the demographic makeup of your company? Not the talent makeup, not the educational makeup, not the skills makeup, not the experience makeup. What's the demographic makeup? Tell me about race. Tell me about gender. Tell me about orientation. And I still am morbidly curious to this day. How does that conversation go specifically about orientation when it comes to assessing the demographics of your workforce? I would love to have been a fly on the wall for a series of conversations between management at Ford or any other company when it comes to assessing the orientation demographic. Excuse me, employee. Can you tell me about your personal sex life? Thank you, Chicago Mike. Do we need a 16-hour stream by Monkey to celebrate? If Monkey did a 13 or 16-hour stream to fundraise for Aaliyah's college fund, he would be a hero beyond compare. If we set up something like that, I would donate as much time as I could manage. Now that I think about it. But, so the answer to your question is sure, but it would take some planning. Wouldn't that be great if you had little telethons for just building up a kid's college fund? I just think about it. If everybody who followed, I don't know, just pick a channel that's got way too many people. Mr. Beast, right? If 1/3, and I know that Mr. Beast is in some trouble right now, but I'm just saying for the sake of scale. If 1/3 of the people subscribe to Mr. Beast threw $1 each into some random kid's school fund or something, they'd be set, right? They'd be out, each individual person be out $1, but that kid would have the opportunity of a lifetime for education and their prosperity. I think about that sometimes. You know, there's just so much. You know, everybody counts things on followers now or subscribers, and you look at some of the numbers of people that are subscribed or following people and everything else. And you just think, you know, if everybody just threw a quarter, if you donated 25 cents, it's like some kind of UNICEF kind of thing. You know, targeted a specific individual who's in need. You can completely change that person's life, and you'd be out a quarter. But the aggregate of it all would be life-changing. I'm not advocating for, you know, socialism or anything else, but just on the basis of charity sometimes, especially with the numbers, because of the interconnectedness of social media these days. There's a whole lot of really drastic and dramatic things that could happen for people. But anyway, I'm kind of going off on. I'm still drunk, by the way. I'm really feeling it.
We've been very thoughtful about what we've done since then.
Have you? Thoughtful? Okay.
The executive leadership here at Ford is really putting an effort in prioritizing that blend that's needed to really create an inclusive work environment.
That blend to create an inclusive work environment. Oh, in what way?
The essence of DEI is when we create the conditions where I feel like I can belong, I can be challenged, I can deliver more than the company's asking for.
Me, my. How more self-centered can you get? Oh, I want to know that I'm the center of things. I want to know I'm included. Come to work and do your job. If they give you a paycheck and they give you a performance review and give you a raise or give you some criticism, that's you being included because you're doing your job and you're getting a paycheck. Outside of that, what more do you need? How much more needy do people have to be in the workplace? I don't. Here's the thing. I don't want to be more entwined in the comings and goings of my business than I absolutely have to be, unless I'm a shareholder or I'm a part owner or something, or I own stock somehow. I come to work, I do my job. And any time that I'm not working and getting my job done and making sure I've got everything that I need to do done to the best of my ability and I've covered all my bases, the rest of the time of my day is mine. I don't want to dedicate it to things that have nothing to do with me. There's got to be a separation, professional distance. All of this is trying to degrade professional distance. All of this is trying to incorporate people into not being people anymore, but to being nothing but cogs in the company machine. If you're a member of an ERG, it's based on your demographic, your race, your gender, your religion, whatever else, you're giving your free time to the company to promote their interests without compensation. You might get a little plaque here and there. You might get some kind of, certificate or something, but they're not paying you extra for doing any extracurricular activities on the basis of your ERG or your race or something. It is a mental Hershey town. All it is.
Because it feels good to me and I want to be part of something bigger than
if you only did something because it feels good. Okay.
myself.
So we've taken the opportunity to be curious and to create conversations that help us become better human beings.
Oh, better human beings. Oh, okay. Are these courageous conversations by any chance? Okay, so if I come into Ford and I haven't joined an ERG yet, I'm a lesser human being than if I join an ERG and take part in your DEI programs, then I become a better human being.
Majority of the work that lies ahead is on the individual.
Oh, is it on the individual? Do you value individuality?
To really recognize and think differently and not just from their own seat.
Think differently and not just from their own seat. What does that mean?
In 5 years, I want that North Star to really be the forefront of how we approach everything that we do, whether it's product, service, policy, program. It's something.
Well, I hate to tell you this. I think this was posted in 2021 or 2022. In 5 years, let's say it was 2021. Oh, yeah, let's say it's 2022. 5 years is 2027. Well, in 2024, Ford is rolling back all their DEI initiatives. So I guess you're just out of luck.
And that is second nature for us. It's just what we do, and we don't look at it as the right thing to do.
Right. It would be nice if we all just didn't consider race, gender, orientation, religion, etc. in any way, shape, or form in valuing someone else's worth in the company, wouldn't it?
Is what we do.
It takes each and every one of us to take action.
Yes, you have to get everybody on side or else it kind of falls apart.
Big or small, regardless of what you do for the company, you have the power to make that happen today.
Oh, regardless of what I do for the company? Yeah, I suppose if I just dedicate myself to the hive mind, everything will be fine.
We are family.
No, you're not. The family, okay. Healthy family does not treat themselves or each other this way. A healthy family would not treat each other. Dividing everybody up on, okay, here's the space for you people who look like this, and here's the space for you people who look like that. No, ERGs are not family. ERGs are tribalism. ERGs are segregation. If you were actually family, you have an ERG for professional development. You'd have an ERG for supply chain skills. You'd have an ERG for things that benefit the company, regardless of what someone looks like. But you don't, and you haven't. You might be rolling it back now, but it's a bit too late. And any civil rights attorney worth their salt is going to look at this rollback of Ford as a confession of wrongdoing. And I am waiting. I am just fingers crossed, knock formica. There are class action lawsuits up the wazoo, either for Ford or HP or Google or Microsoft or anybody else that's been practicing this stuff for the last 7 years or more. Because they deserve it. They really deserve the backlash. Because it's all been poison.
We celebrate our differences.
We all belong.
Unless you're not the right color or ethnicity, and then you don't get an internship.
We are Ford.
You are. You are, you were, you will be. Okay. Well, there's my follow-up, at least in part, to a Sunday stream where I talked about the Ford article and them rolling back their the DEI initiatives, or at least saying they were going to. Who knows? Maybe they'll rebrand them in some way. And now, as a wild card, how about we look at something from, I think it's NBC. NBC has this this YouTube channel. I think they may have changed the name. Last I knew it was called something like Left Field. So it's sort of like random news reports or documentaries or something. And this one is called First Generation Gen Zers Are Moving Abroad for a Better Life, I think it is. First Generation Gen Zers. I've still been kind of bewildered at the whole first generation thing. It's like, what is that supposed to tell me? What's that supposed to mean to me? So first generation Gen Zers are defecting from America, I guess. I don't know. I haven't watched this. I don't know any other context. I've had it in my library for a few weeks now. It's 5 minutes. We'll use this as the capper to the stream. Is anybody still here? You know, I apologize. I don't know how entertaining or informative I've been. This was completely random, unplanned. I'm completely off my rocker on a day off. And I've decidedly had too much to drink. Just because I can. This is a very rare day for me. Toku 154. It's Scribe. Now back to the beginning of the stream to see why. Yeah, no, that is a philosophical question. Why? Why am I going back to the beginning of the stream? I appreciate that. Thank you, Toku. I appreciate it. Derek Lou, oh me, oh my. And Jaeger Pony's still here. Derek LaRue is Ohio. All right, so let's cap this off after a panoply of Ford videos with J Random, NBC, Left Field, or something. Gen Zers are defecting.
I thought I would fall in love with America and the American dream of like progressing and making something of yourself. And
Okay, you thought you would. And then?
Feeling proud, I came to the realization recently that I actually didn't want this life.
You didn't want this life. You didn't want a life of living in a country with a constitution, freedom of speech, freedom of expression. Are things perfect in this country right now? No. Are they ever perfect in this country? No. Could they be better? I would hope so. I mean, I will admit, at this point in my life, I would have thought that I'd already owned my own home. It wasn't anything, I mean, I wasn't in a position, and I have yet to be in a position of a necessity. Like, I don't have a wife. I don't have any children. I don't have that sort of like necessity is the mother of invention kind of drive to make something happen because it has to happen. All the same, I thought at least at this point in my life, I would at least own my own home. And it'd be possible, reasonable, conceivable for me to own and afford my own home and not constantly have to rent an apartment. But I can't. I can't. It is financially improbable for me to own my own home in this area, in this economy, and the way things are. So the sort of, mythical version of the American dream, at least right now, is I can't achieve it. And I, in the abstracts of my mind, I wonder like, well, if things had gone this way or that way, and I had a wife and I had children, what would I do? And if I was in the same employment situation, how would I manage? Would I really feel like a man, a provider, if I was trying to cram a family in this apartment? No. What would I do to try to remedy that? What would I have to do? What kind of sacrifices would I have to make? What kind of strain or travel or whatever would I have to do to make that actually happen in today's economy? It's an abstract horror story. And for those people in the chat and otherwise that I've talked to and otherwise that have had to do this or had to try to make do. So I guess in a way I can kind of understand this person's aversion. But I want to hear more.
In some ways, it's very disappointing, but in other ways, I'm very accepting.
Rania Sala, first generation American. Okay, so how is Rania going to resolve this problem?
Of that dream being dead, and I'm just ready to make new dreams.
Okay, so where are you going to go to make new dreams? On the 2024 elections? 24 stories on the 2040. Okay. Well, I guess this is just one.
Rania
24 on 24. Okay.
Sala is a first-gen American.
First-gen American, okay.
She was born in Virginia. Her parents are Palestinian and
she was born in Virginia, so she's a naturalized citizen. Okay. And her parents are Palestinian. Okay.
lived in Falls Church, Virginia when they first came to the U.S.
Okay.
She spent her childhood in Jordan before coming back to America when
Okay, she's born in Virginia, spent her childhood in Jordan, came back to America. Okay.
Jordan before coming back to America when she was 15.
Okay, so she's been all over the place.
Rania attended American University on a full ride scholarship and graduated in 2022 with a
Wait, a full ride? So she got a free ride to college? From where? Who paid for that? Well, I mean, lucky her. Holy crap. She got a free ride through college.
University on a full ride scholarship and graduated in 2022 with a degree in public health.
Public health. Public health is right up there with feminist studies. It's the equivalent of a social justice degree. I mean, and this is just what I've learned over the years. When I hear someone has a degree in public health, it sounds about as viable as an English degree. And I have an English degree, but it's much more focused. Okay. She got a full ride scholarship and she went for public health? Why not business administration? Something useful. Public health.
After struggling with job security and her health.
Yeah, because a degree in public health is about as valuable as an English degree. And I should know. Oh my gosh.
She's decided to pack up her entire life and leave the US for good.
Oh, okay. Well, what do I care? Goodbye.
I graduated, immediately started working, but I have lupus, so my go was kind of forcibly stopped.
Okay. I know that lupus exists. I know that lupus is not a fiction. But there's a part of me that'll probably never leave me, that was engendered by the series House MD. And if you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. But regardless, what does a lupus diagnosis, legitimate or otherwise, have to do with you abandoning America? And where are you going as the alternative?
I had to quit my job.
You had to quit your job? Why?
Just because my lupus was getting really bad and I worked with a lot of lupus patients.
Wait, you had to quit your job because your lupus was getting bad, and you had to work with a lot of lupus patients. And, you know, there's a very distinct, I guess it's not surprising given her family heritage, scarf on the back of her chair over here that's become very prominent over the last several months with protests on college campuses. Okay.
And that was really affecting my mental health.
Okay. So your mental health, your lupus.
The United States is kind of the hub of autoimmune disorders.
The United States is the hub of autoimmune disorders. Okay, well, let's say that's true. I maybe it is. I don't know. I'm not a doctor. But if that's true and you have an autoimmune disorder, wouldn't this be the best place to seek treatment for such disorder?
There were 10 many years ago, and just in America, we've developed over 100 kinds.
Wait. America has developed 100 kinds of autoimmune disorders. Like in a factory? What? Wait. For those of you listening at home, apologies. There's a graphic on the screen. Lupus, Crohn's disease, rheumatoid arthritis, type 1 diabetes, and multiple sclerosis. Yeah, I guess only in America can those things exist. What?
She shared her story of living with an autoimmune disease on TikTok.
On TikTok. Oh, gosh. And
it drew over 2.5 million viewers.
Wow. And I never saw it. Yeah, you know, the concept of something, quote unquote, going viral doesn't mean much. Wait a second. Wait. Oh, in the chat. Holy cats. Wait a second. Misery Machine. Scribe, it's okay to let loose sometimes. Hope you had a great Labor Day week. Okay, now I'm going to assume, and I could be wrong, and I'm happy to be correct. I'm going to assume that this is Jurgi talking, because Jurgi is more of the social media maven than Drewby. Now, if I'm wrong, apologies to Drewby. Jurgi, thank you. Glad to see you. Hope you're having a good Labor Day weekend. Actually, the strange thing was just today I looked, because I had to remind myself. I was like, when is the Menendez brothers? It's Drewby. Oh no! Oh no! I suck. I'm sorry, Drewby. Apologies. Well, okay, then I'll back up a little bit. Tell Jurgi that thinking of her specifically, I looked up today to remind myself when the Menendez brothers Netflix special is coming out. I think it's on the 19th of September. I think. I might be off because I'm a little inebriated. Either way, I'm keeping in mind when that comes out, because when it comes out, I'm going to binge it. And as soon as I'm done with it, I'm going to be getting in touch with her and you, ostensibly, to see if we can set up a little discussion about what we thought about it as a, sort of premier true crime kind of thing and all that kind of stuff. So just putting that out there. Just putting that out there. Sorry. Oh, Corey's, sorry. Urcule de Stefano. Hello. My chat is like a mile behind. I apologize, guys. My chat is a mile behind. There we go. We plan to binge it as well when it comes out, because we absolutely want to take part in it. Great. I'm looking forward to it. I'm gonna put a bug in the ear of some of the other friends, Mr. Black, Dave's Lemonade, Matt Orchard, Stay Awake. I'm going to see if I can get them to keep in mind to watch that as well. So maybe we can all have a little kumbaya on it. And I love this game of Guess Which. I know. See, this is the thing. This is the thing. It all happened on Twitter. That one time when I'm DMing with Misery Machine on Twitter, and I think I'm talking to Drewby, because Drewby and I have had long conversations on social media before, Discord and otherwise. And then Jurgi's like, "No, it's Jurgi." I'm like, "Oh no!" Like, guess the host. Anyway, thank you, Drewby, for popping in. Appreciate it. Everybody, if you don't know about the Misery Machine, let me tell you about the Misery Machine. Drewby and Jurgi, the duo, the dynamic duo that run the Misery Machine YouTube channel, they cover, admittedly, some of the most difficult true crime stories to have to listen to, but they are vitally important for understanding just the, if nothing else, in a lot of the cases, the pitfalls of our social services in protecting the most vulnerable among us, and trying to highlight those problems, and also the victims, unfortunately, the victims that fall through the cracks oftentimes. So please, if you haven't already, look up the Misery Machine on YouTube, subscribe to their channel, look them up on Twitter. It is misery_podcast on Twitter, or sorry, X. Follow them, follow their work, promote their stuff, let people know about these stories, because really the only way we're going to find ways to fix these problems is if people know about the weaknesses in the system. And that's what they highlight more often than not. So anyway, thank you, Drewby, for popping in. I'll try to get through this rest of this NBC thing real quick, because I think I'm wavering. I'm feeling my body kind of going like, you might have imbibed a bit too much today. Let's see if I can still maintain my coherency. Actually, it's one of those things. There's this book. There's this James Bond book called No Deals, Mr. Bond. I've talked about this before. It was my very first audiobook, No Deals, Mr. Bond, by John, I think it was John Greenberg or something like that, the author. Anyway, there's this scene in the story where James Bond is captured by the bad guys, and he's strapped down to a table, and he's pumped with sodium pentothal, truth serum, right? And he's an experienced secret agent, so he's getting ready to be questioned, and he knows what he needs to do to try to thwart his interrogators. And so he fills his mind with like nonsense and gibberish and multiplication tables and all this other kind of crazy stuff, so that by the time they start actually asking him questions, he's going to be entirely incoherent. Well, in my life at various times, I have seen this as the opposite. I've said to myself, okay, I'm, being given, laughing gas or something at the dentist, or I'm filled with alcohol. I'm going to try to challenge myself, my mental faculties. I'm going to try to see how coherent, how articulate I can maintain myself through this fog of, chemical intrusion. Because challenging my mental faculties to maintain themselves in the face of difficulty has been sort of a running theme in my life ever since I learned that more likely than not, my brain will be rotted by Alzheimer's in the next 20 or 30 years. So you'll have to let me know how I've done, because I am really drunk right now. I won't know till I listen to this after the fact if I've actually succeeded, but you'll have to let me know.
Guys, I kid you not. I went to my rheumatologist today.
He was anticipating that a lot of my stress would go away when I move abroad.
Your rheumatologist was recommending that you move abroad, and your stress would go away specifically because of the national borders in which you lived?
And therefore my lupus would get better. And
Wait. Wait. Okay, I can understand moving to a different climate, let's say, depending on your ailment, to try to address or alleviate the symptoms. But moving specifically to a different country is going to alleviate your lupus? Okay, anybody in the chat, and I apologize if I don't get to your comments here, but anybody in the chat, if you happen to have lupus or happen to have any experience with someone who has lupus, because I don't, and I've only peripherally been aware of someone in my life with lupus, let me know in the comments. Does that sound, and I don't know, I'm speaking sincerely, does changing your national residency, does that conceivably have some effect on the symptoms of your lupus?
also the quality of food.
He kept saying, I'm so happy for you. I'm so happy for you.
Even with her degree and certifications, Rania said she couldn't land a professional job.
You know why? Because you had a degree in public health, which is even worse than an English degree. It says nothing. It's not a PhD in medicine, right? When it says public health, do you know what that means? It doesn't mean anything. It really means nothing. So you had a full ride scholarship. Now, maybe the elements of the scholarship or the prerequisites somehow locked you into taking a public health degree in some way, shape, or form, but could you have at least minored in it and majored in business administration or something useful? Something that could, spread around a bit? Drewby, I don't have lupus, but I've known a couple of people to have it, and I do have autoimmune diseases. Changing residency could affect her lupus flare-ups if she is less financially strained overseas. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Okay. So climate or financial okay. All right. And this is one of those instances, and this is what I try to do. And I'm not just trying to grandstand here. But for anybody coming to the channel new, when I look at these videos and I approach these topics, I do my best to approach them with as open a mind as I can, and also with a constant little bug in the back of my brain that says, allow for the possibility that you could be wrong, or allow for the possibility that you could learn something you didn't know, right? So when I ask these questions and I'm completely off base, I really am. I assume that any particular subject that I come across, someone in the chat knows a heck of a lot more than I do about. And oftentimes, and I've been impressed by this by my audience, I'll be given these long, like, especially when I'm covering specific topics or controversial topics, I'll be given these long, like almost novel size comments from people who know way more about a subject than I do and either inform or correct me on something. So I appreciate that first and foremost. And I appreciate Drewby's information. Stress can cause major flare-ups with autoimmune diseases. Now that I understood. So something about her life is more stressful here that was alleviated by moving elsewhere. Steel manning her argument, of course. Yeah, no, I get it. I get it. Okay. All right. But especially in a situation like this, I need specifics. What specifically about living in the US versus living wherever she's moving to has the direct effect, or she believes, because some of these things are kind of, subjective, has a direct effect on her health. That's what I'd be looking for as we go forward.
Here I am unemployed, pursuing my master's. I have many, many, many certificates aside from my bachelor's degree.
Yeah, but again, a bachelor's degree, I always hear this all the time. It's like, well, there are so many people with bachelor's degree in what? I lucked out, as it were, in my quote unquote career, because I have an English degree, right? An English degree translates to what? Either I'm going to be a writer or maybe a teacher, maybe, or working like maybe copy editing or something. It doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot. An English degree, for the most part, is just a rubber stamp to say to an employer, I can set my sights on a goal and achieve it if I don't have something more specific I'm looking for. And I understood that when I was getting it. Eyes wide open. When you get a degree in public health, it doesn't really mean anything to anybody. So while I can empathize with the plight that she is in, to a certain extent, and I know it's going to sound harsh to say, this is a pain self-chosen.
And I can't even land like an administrative position.
Why? I mean, I had an English degree and I landed a debt collection position. And then I moved that into a contract processing position. And then I moved that into a program manager position at an information technology company because I gained skills beyond my degree with the jobs I eventually had. And I was a little bold and ambitious in the way that I pursued it. But okay, you can't even land an administrative position.
What made you realize you needed to leave?
I think the past 5 months where I hit 500 job applications,
Whoa. Okay. What are you applying for? I hate to tell you this. You might have to start a heck of a lot lower than your own desires before you work your way up. I don't know what our speaker has been doing. 500 job 500 job applications, and you can't find steady work, or at least ground floor work? Okay, this is the point at which on the TEDx bingo card I'll be circling leaves out vital context.
got so depressed because I blamed myself. I felt valueless. I felt like my existence didn't matter.
Well, then you need to buckle down and find something. I had a friend, well, I guess now technically an ex-friend, long ago, who he had this super duper job at this startup tech thing. This is back when, like, in the bubble. And then things fell through and he lost his job at his, HTML website startup thing. And then for the next 2 years, he was unemployed. Not because he lacked skill, not because he lacked experience, but because he thought to himself, I am better than all of the jobs currently that would accept me. Okay, there was a level of ego that kept him unemployed, not because he couldn't get a job, but because he saw any job lesser than where he was at the heights of his startup tech company as beneath him. So I don't know. Again, necessity is the mother of invention. You catch as catch can. And maybe this is just perspective of mine at an elder state in life or something, but any job is better than no job. Better to be employed when you can than to be not employed when you don't have to be.
You know, one day I was just speaking to my father, and he actually suggested, he's like, you're not stuck there. You know that, right?
So where are you going and when will you be moving?
Yes. Okay. What is the alternate paradise to the United States after 500 job applications?
So I am moving next week. I'm going to end up in Qatar. I have my sister there.
Wait. Qatar? Okay, where slavery is still practiced. And this fundamentally is a better option than the United States. Okay, I for the sake of argument, I'm going to assume that Kieverdam is also imbibing of the happy juice today, as she says, I might become a hooker. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah. So Qatar is to each their own, I suppose, but Qatar is going to impart upon you a better mental health than the United. Okay.
She moved there a few years ago from London, and her life got so much better.
Okay. In what way?
She's very, very happy, very financially stable.
I admittedly do not know the cost of living in Qatar, but given what little I know about the territory, okay. What is the cost of living in Qatar? I mean, maybe it's a lot less. Maybe it is. I don't know.
And so it just seemed like the perfect option. It checked all my boxes.
Qatar. Okay.
Rania says it was hard to make ends meet in DC.
Well, of course it's hard to make ends to meet in DC. Okay, maybe I'm off. It's been a while since I've looked at this. Isn't the District of Columbia one of the most expensive places to, like, if you want to live in DC and not like the surrounding area? Thank you, Kieverdam. You said that any job is better than no job. I was just playing around. Well, okay. Okay, I mean, it's true, but I'm talking about, like, legitimate gainful employment. Side hustles, hustler being the operative word. To each their own. To each their own. But okay. Thank you, Kieverdam. I appreciate it. Anyway, you want to, you might want to lower your expectations until you've built up enough of a financial cushion that you could live in somewhere like DC perpetually. It's like, I want to live in downtown New York. Well, that's a great goal. Maybe you should work up to it and not make it your go-to right out of college. Maybe that's just me.
Rent is always a huge stressor.
Yes, the cost of living in DC is nothing to sneeze at.
My car payments.
Yeah, but I mean, if you live in DC, maybe you should give up your car and just use public transportation. Make some sacrifices for the sake of your finances.
On a day-to-day, it looks like your friend's asking you out to eat, and you say, actually, I can't.
Well, there you go. Save up your money. Okay. When I graduated high school, a neighbor of mine, a neighbor that had been a neighbor for my entire life growing up, he gave me a gift upon my graduation from high school. It was a little thin book called The Richest Man in Babylon. And it has some very foundationary, logical, simple advice for ongoing financial literacy and wealth. And one of the first rules in that book is, do not buy what you cannot afford. I have a feeling that if our speaker had stuck to that rule as soon as she exited college with her degree, she would be in far, far better shape than she is at the point of this video.
It's going to the grocery store and looking for the deals.
Though inflation
Yes, yes. Welcome to the real world, unfortunately. And I understand inflation has screwed everybody, but no matter the day, the time, the year, the era, do not buy what you cannot afford and save wherever you can.
shows signs of cooling, food prices went up 3.3% from May 2023 to May 2024.
Yes, we are in a very horrible economy when it comes to just buying food.
According to the USDA, rent
Yeah.
has steadily increased since the pandemic.
Boy, don't I know it.
One study by the New York Fed estimates that Gen Zers on average have about $21,000 of student debt.
Well, fortunately, our speaker doesn't have to worry about that because she got a full ride scholarship for reasons unknown.
And we just aren't working with the same setup as our parents and grandparents.
You're correct. We're not.
Incomes have not kept up with home prices.
You're absolutely right, which is why I'm still renting at 45.
The American dream as a promise that if you
It was never a promise. I know people like to think that, and I sort of in my idealistic mind, I like to think that, but it was never a promise.
you as an individual work hard and you will put all your efforts into making it out in the United States, the outcome is guaranteed.
No, there is no outcome that is guaranteed. I could do everything right in my life and be hit by a Mack truck tomorrow because the driver wasn't paying attention while I was crossing the street. Nothing is guaranteed. Your safety is not guaranteed. There's nothing promised by being an American. It's the American dream, operative word, dream. And yeah, things are drastically different than they were for my parents or my grandparents. I'm probably worse off when it comes to just availability of homes and so on. But I also have the pragmatism to understand that I'm not promised anything.
Well, that's not the case.
No
Almost
kidding.
20% of all immigrants around the world are in the United States.
Okay. What does that have to do with anything?
Batalova says the exact number of Americans living abroad is hard to pin down.
Sure. And?
But the UN estimates that almost 3 million Americans live in other countries.
Okay. How does that compare proportionally to other countries? So 3 million. Okay, so 3 million out of 300 million, so that's like 1%. Am I off base there? I'm an English major, not a math major. Anyway. And?
Which is an increase of over 1.2 million people since the 90s.
Well, how does that rate with population growth?
Rania says she'll be keeping her American citizenship.
Of course she will. She's not defecting. She'll want to come back here at some point and enjoy the benefits of being an American citizen, natural born.
And will continue to pay taxes.
Oh, okay.
But while she still has the right to vote, she's not planning on it.
That's completely her prerogative.
I think American politics is a joke.
Oh, you think American politics is a joke? Well, tell me about Qatar politics.
Even if I had stayed, I wouldn't have voted in that election.
That's perfectly fine. I haven't voted in the last 2 presidential elections. So, okay. That means what?
I think we're seeing that no matter which party is in power, no matter which face it is, it's kind of the same system.
Yes, it's the same system, but the overall outcomes and condition of the country is drastically or at least seemingly drastically different depending on who's in charge. I've said this before. During the course of the entire Obama administration, what meager investments that I had were stagnant. They didn't gain or lose anything beyond a couple of percentage points throughout 8 years. As soon as Donald Trump became president, within a year of that, my investments jumped. I mean, in relative terms, jumped 30%. I was amazed. And then what happened within the first year of Biden? It dropped 30%. I went right back to square one again. So, yeah, the system is the same. The outcomes aren't necessarily the same. There are consequences to elections.
Do you think there are any rights that you'll be giving up once you move to Qatar?
I don't know. What does Qatar's constitution look like compared to America's?
On the outside, it might seem like I am giving up my right to the democracy and to that kind of freedom.
Not just on the outside, on the demonstrable functional side.
To say whatever I want.
Yeah, freedom of speech.
To do whatever I want.
Yeah, freedom of movement. Yeah.
I think we have the illusion of freedom in America.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. Compare the reality of freedom in America to the reality of freedom in Qatar. Is there a differential? And if there is, what are you talking about?
I am going to a semi-conservative monarchy.
Okay, what more do you need? Democracy? Or sorry, constitutional republic, monarchy. You know, there's a whole bunch of people in our country's past who fought and died to get away from a monarchy. So I guess there really is no big difference between the two.
That being said, I am happy to give up my right to vote.
You are?
As a trade for a significantly better quality of life.
Oh. Okay, so you're willing to give up your liberty and your freedoms for a little extra comfort. Okay.
I'm so lucky and privileged, and I will repeat this because I know a lot of people don't have the opportunity to just pick up and go.
Yeah, especially since you don't have any student debt, since you got a free ride scholarship for reasons unknown. And you tried to you aimed for the moon and wouldn't take anything less than the moon, i.e. living in DC with a public health degree. You know, your lack of compromise or pragmatism. I hope, look, all sincerity, I hope it serves her well in Qatar. I hope she succeeds.
I do.
Okay. Stay tuned. All right. So NBC, stay tuned. All right. Well, that's the show for as much as I had planned, and I didn't plan anything. So there you go. That is a bizarre chain of logic. If you can't afford to live in one of the most expensive places in the country to live under a public health degree, and your first thought is, I'm going to leave the country, I don't know. Every state in this nation is its own country with its own economy, its own culture, its own ways, its own opportunities. If you're just going to give up on America because you couldn't make it in one spot therein, I don't know that you're actually exploring all the possibilities of this country. I know, maybe I sound too much like a dyed-in-the-wool patriot or something, but I'm just saying. But, you know, all things considered, and completely sincerely, I hope that everything works out for her in Qatar, the conservative monarchy with fewer freedoms of speech or movement or expression or activity. But hey, I guess it's a fair trade for the conceivable benefit of personal finance or condition or something. I don't know. At least she still retains her American citizenship and passport and everything, so that if worst comes to worst, she can come running back home. Anyway, a couple seconds here for anything else you guys want to say, and then I really need to stop doing this. Faithless, fair weather citizen. A little bit. I think more character comes from adapting and struggling against the slings and arrows of life than sort of throwing up your hands and running away. But again, who knows? Resolute Germ, semi-conservative monarchy. I don't think she knows what country she's going to. Well, maybe by now she does. Let's see. Anything else? Oh, Yvonne Solomon's in the chat. Hey, Yvonne. Long time no see. Hope you're well. Hope you're having a good day. And well, guys, I think I'm going to call it here. This was a impromptu ambush stream. Nothing planned, nothing meant other than what I put out there. So I appreciate the fact you guys turned out for it regardless. Again, if you have not already, please buy Satsu 2 Senses spices. You know about Satsu 2 Senses spices? Let me tell you about my friend Satsu. This is my friend Satsu, aka Chef Tyrone, founder, owner, and CEO of Oishi Fried Chicken LLC, featuring a new line of signature spice mixes. Chef Tyrone's homemade blends are the perfect gateway to delicious fried chicken or any other protein you might prefer. These recipes were painstakingly tested in Tyrone's home kitchen to bring you all the fantastic flavors you and your family can enjoy. The current flavor lineup includes original, spicy, lemon garlic herb, barbecue rub, and taco seasoning. You can buy individual packs of your favorite flavors or save some money with a variety bundle, all through the online store. And Oishi Fried Chicken ships nationwide. Go to www.oishifc.com and order today. There you go. Be sure to check out oishifriedchicken.com and order some spices from Satsu. Also, let's see. Let me scroll up here just a little bit. If you haven't already heard of The Misery Machine and you're interested in true crime, and admittedly, and I think they too would admit this, you have a bit of a strong stomach, take a look at The Misery Machine on YouTube for true crime stories. A lot of the stuff they cover is hard to hear, but it's necessary, and those stories really need to get out there. So check out their stuff and subscribe and share their stuff amongst people who would appreciate that kind of thing. Get the message out. Highlighting the weaknesses in the system that would allow for the worst to happen, the most vulnerable amongst us, is important. It really is one of the only ways that maybe things can start changing. With that said, everyone, thank you so much for joining me on this Monday afternoon, Labor Day. Hope you all had a good day off. If you had the day off, if you had to work today and you're listening to this while you're working, I hope your work day is easy and calm and quiet. Moderators, thank you for keeping an eye on things. Even though everyone here is so well behaved, you have very, very little to do. Everybody who donated, either to myself or to the GoFundMes and fundraisers at the top of the chat box, thank you guys so much for your generosity. Very much appreciated. I will see you guys hopefully on Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern for TED Excellence. We'll take a look at another off-brand TED Talk with TEDx Bingo. And the bingo card this week will be new because we're consolidating 2 squares and filling in a new square with something new. There is a poll, a suggestion box on the Discord server right now if you'd like to suggest what that new square should contain. And speaking of the Discord server, did I remember to prep a link to the Discord server before the show started? Of course I did. And that's why there's a link in the Discord. There's a link in the chat right now for the Discord server. Click on that link. You'll find yourself on the landing channel called Say Hello. And in addition to saying hello, you just have to say the secret word. The secret word will tell me that you actually watch the show, are not a bot, and have earned the right, the privilege, the entitlement to join the Discord server. And today's secret word is Drooby. Just say hello, Drooby, and I'll know that you watch the show. Everybody, again, hope you have a good rest of your day. Hope you're all safe and well. If you're not well, please get well soon, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.